Welcome to Mental and Magnolia. I'm Jennifer Metters. Today I'm going to be talking about COVID-19. Like a lot of Americans, it's on my mind constantly. So I'm going to start with things that I'm worried about and then ways that I can cope. So the big things that I'm worried about is just on a global scale how much this is going to devastate the world. I think about all of those people who are in the hospital and are dying and have no one there with them that's in their family. I think about my husband in last year when he passed away and how devastating it would have been for him and for us if we could not be there with him in his final moments. And I think about those families and my heart aches for them. I think about the doctors and nurses, all the critical workers who are taking care of these patients and putting their families at risk and having to distance from their families. And it's heartbreaking. I think about the United States, and today I heard that they think the death toll in America could reach over 240,000 people. And how in the last 3 weeks, 1,000 people just in New York have died. That's fast. 1,000 people in 3 weeks. And I worry about locally my son and myself and my family. We have pretty much been sheltering in place since they were released from school indefinitely. We have not come in contact with very many people. I'm lucky because my friend Erin's staying here with us and has been sheltering in place with us so that it's not just Owen and I by ourselves. I'm thankful that I can talk to my neighbors while they're on the other side of the street or next door. And I think about people who are in other cities that maybe don't have that luxury, people who are living alone locally or in the US who don't have that support system and don't have people that they can be around and talk to, and how much human interaction is so important for us and how isolated and alone they feel. I personally do not know anyone close to me that has contracted the virus. However, I think by the time it's over, every single person will know at least one person. Maybe not someone that died, but definitely someone that was infected. And I think about the fact that even though it may go away, it will come back in time. Like every virus does, it will mutate, or it will, become like the avian flu or the swine flu or any other flu, any other strand of COVID, and come back every year, and what that will mean in years to come. So obviously there are a lot of things that I have been worried about, but I surprisingly have not been anxious. And I think that's because I don't really watch the news. I don't obsessively tune in to what is going on. I'm creating a bubble for us where we focus on just today. And that's a great coping skill for me personally. I check in with the news maybe once a day for no more than an hour. Some days I don't look at it at all, other than the statistics online, because even just the statistics, if you understand them, are scary. And it's scary to me that there are people who still do not believe that this is a very, very big problem. And there are people who are going about their lives as if nothing is happening. And I'm in a bubble, but I'm not unaware. There's a reason we're sheltering in place, because we don't want to run the risk of getting infection, and we don't want to run the risk of possibly infecting others. We've only gone out for non-essentials. For essentials, not non-essentials. We've only gone out for things like groceries, and have decided that as of today, we will not be going out for anything or ordering anything online that we do not absolutely need for survival. Because the less we interact with other people and the less that they are putting themselves at risk, the better it is for everyone. And so, it's great to be able to order online and get, whatever I need or whatever will keep my kid entertained or me entertained or happy. But then I think about the fact that to do that, lots of people are having to risk their own lives and their own families, because they're having to fill those orders and they're having to stock the shelves. And people have said, well, what about the economy? And yeah, and I get that. I do. I do think there is a possibility of us having a depression. But how good is worrying about the economy going to be if I'm dead? In all honesty, I feel like being alive and being healthy is more important, and it's easier to come back from a loss of money than it is to come back from death. And that's basically, that's a bug. That's gross. That's basically how I view it. Other things I do to kind of shelter in place. As you can see, I'm sitting outside right now. I live in Mississippi, and the weather has been, except for the rain, amazing. And we spend the majority of our day outside. And that's not just a thing that I do, but that's something that in psychology and counseling we always recommend to people who are depressed and face isolation, is simply sit outside. Because the more you suffer in four walls, the more isolated and disconnected from the world you're going to feel. And if you can't go outside, you live in a major city, open a window and just look outside. Listen to, we can hear birds, and just look at the world around you and remind yourself that although right now you're by yourself, you're not alone in the world. Some other things we do, we play games. A lot of it revolves around keeping my son entertained and happy. He's a great distraction for me from everything else, because he's 3, which means he's extremely demanding. He doesn't understand why he can't go to Walmart to get a toy, and why he can't go to the car wash, and why we can't go to the park. And there's all these things that as a child he's so used to being able to do, and he doesn't understand why we can't. And trying to explain to him that basically everything in the world is closed does not always go over well. He usually says, "Aw," and then he'll say, "Well, they need to open." Just, and I think that's how a lot of adults feel in the world. Aw, they need to open back up. And we would all love that to happen in the future. I think we are far from seeing the end of this. A lot of people are hopeful that it's going to be in the next couple of weeks, but I think for us in Mississippi, it will probably be mid-May or the 1st of June before we finally see the end. I have heard rumors today that our governor is going to institute a shelter in place, and I'm very hopeful that people will abide by that and take that seriously, because it will help not just minimize the spread, but also minimize the rate of infection. In places where they've done that, they've seen a slowing. So take that seriously and use common sense. Like, if you can stay home and whatever you're thinking of doing does not need to be done for your survival, don't do it. Stay at home. Some other things that I do, like, I distract myself a lot when I'm, sitting there pondering of all the things that are going wrong in the world and all of the sorrow that everybody's feeling. I have clients that thankfully are stable enough that I don't have to see them in person. I can see them through video chat and things like that. Aaron and I have talked about getting a group of friends together on Zoom or something and having a wine party or a dinner party or something of that nature with all of our friends so that we feel connected to other people. And that's going to be a great way of catching up with all the people that we haven't been able to see, because we've been sheltering in place for a little over 3 weeks. And in that time, like, I think I've seen my parents once. I don't think Aaron's been home at all. Haven't seen my mother-in-law this whole time except for video chats, FaceTiming. There are so many useful tools that you can find online about ways to decrease feelings of isolation and ways to decrease anxiety. You don't have to put in COVID-19 in relation to that. You can if you want to, but there are tons of great therapy tools out there online that you can find for free that will give you ideas of reducing isolation, going for walks if you're able, reading books, trying new recipes that you've never tried before, getting things done around your house, doing home improvement, that sort of thing. I'm contemplating digging a ditch in my backyard, which, if you know me, is not something I'm really into, but I've been needing it to get done, and what better time than quarantine. Revisit old movies and old songs that you love. I've been on a kick of listening to all the things I used to listen to back when I was in college and high school. The songs that have good memories for me, songs that remind me of my husband and good times, some that remind me of my friends when we were, doing delinquent behavior as teenagers. I pray every day. I'm connected to other believers on a Facebook group, and I read their comments. I read about their stories. I talk to friends who are struggling, answer specific questions, and give specific advice where I can. Try to stay connected with people, because even though you may be by yourself right now, like, you're not alone, and all of those people that you care about and care about you are still out there. And just because you can't touch them doesn't mean you can't have a video chat with them or hear their voice on the phone, look at pictures, watch videos you've made together. Stay active as much as possible. Get off the couch, stop watching TV, get outside at least once a day. Make a schedule. Even though you're at home, you can have a schedule. Our schedule is, we wake up every morning, we eat breakfast and watch about 30 minutes to an hour of TV. Then we go outside for a couple of hours, come in for lunch, play, usually go back outside after lunch, come in to watch a few videos or cartoons right before my son goes down for a nap. And then when he wakes up, we go back outside. And so for us, it's been life-saving to be outside. Now, peppered in with all of that, I attempt to get housework done, attempt to make the normal cleaning and chores accomplished. But I also am not stressing over it if it doesn't get done. I'm not worrying about how my hair looks. I don't worry if I have on makeup. I'm not worried if my shirt is wrinkled like it is right now. I just don't care because it's not important. It doesn't matter. Nobody's seeing my shirt except for, all of you guys right now. I'm here if you need to talk, if you need somebody to listen. I can video chat with you, or if I know you personally, talk on the phone. If you have my phone number, you can email me at mentalinmississippi@gmail.com. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again next week.